today's session. So, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedant Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharni Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Desha Tarine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So now we start section 4 of this chapter number 3, which is Karma Yoga. Nishkam Karma Yoga to set correct example. Nishkam Karma Yoga, that means a person, a devotee who acts but does not enjoy the fruits of his actions, or does not want any benefit out of his activities, and offers all results to Lord Krishna, so that this way he becomes without any entanglement into the sensory or self-sense satisfaction. And that paves the pathway for liberation. So this is Nishkam Karma Yoga we are talking about. Yes, Bhavika Mataji, you may please continue. Read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
A Nishkam Karma Yoga to set correct example. A Nishkama Karma Yogi may conclude, my prescribed duties are meant to bring material rewards, but I do not have any material desire in this life, nor do I desire the Swargaloka. I know I am not this body. So why should I need to perform my prescribed duties? In the following verses, 3.17 to 3.32, Krishna explains why one freed from material desires should nevertheless perform his duties. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Again.
Answer to Arjun's argument of destruction of family dynasty.
Thank you. So he said, you will remember the fourth doubt was that there shall be destruction of the family dynasty if I kill my elders. No elders will be there, then Varna Sankara will be produced, and there shall be disorder in the society. Ladies will get corrupt, and Varna Sankara, unwanted progeny will come into the society. All development activities, social welfare activities, they will come to end and become a sin also. So now the question comes, when person does not have any kind of material desire out of his activities, does not have any desire for going to Swargloka or higher planets, and he knows, he's self-realized, he knows that I am not this body, I am the soul. So why should I need to perform my prescribed duties? Why should I perform when I'm already self-realized? Performance of prescribed duty is not required for me. So this is the verse which you can see was given earlier. That why a person who is not inclined to enjoy his the fruits of his activity does not want to rise to higher planets, and he is self-realized that he is not body, he is soul. Why he need to perform the prescribed duty? Yes, Bhavika Mata, read this one also.
यस्तव आत्मा रतिर एव शाद्य आत्मा तृप्तश्च मनवः आत्मने एव च सन्तुष्टस्तस्य कर्यं न विद्यते. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satiated, for him there is no duty.
There is no duty, right? Thank you much. So Atma Ratir means one who takes pleasure in his own self, or who derives bliss in his own self. Atma Trapta, he is satisfied. Trapta means satisfied. He is satisfied in his soul. And also Atma Santushta, he is also santusht or ultimately satisfied in the soul. So there are three words. The satiated is santusht means one who does not have any kind of further satisfaction. Satiated means one who is fully satisfied is santusht. So person who is and who derives pleasure in the self, and who human life he is already self-realized, and also he is satisfied or santusht, then why tasya karyam na vidyate? So for him there is no duty to be performed. So this question is asked now, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satisfied, for him there is no duty. So this was mentioned here in the explanation here. So why he should perform duty? So yes, Richa and Mataji. Why he should perform duty? That is the explanation is given in this verse, this text now.
A self-realized soul, due to his being Krishna conscious, all impurity within instantly cleansed, an effect of many, many thousands of yajna performances, becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated, Atma Tripta, by the grace of the Lord, has no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions, no longer interested in material sensual activities.
Okay, Mataji. So further explanation of the previous verses, the person who is self-realized soul and who is seeking pleasure within his own soul. Secondly, he is Atma. He is Atma Tapta, that is, he is fully satisfied, and also Atma Santushta. Why he should perform duty? That means a person in this state is Krishna conscious. He is, and when one person is Krishna conscious, all the impurities in the heart, they get purified by themselves without performing any kind of yajnas. So sacrifice is not necessary if a person is self-realized, he is self-satisfied, or he is a self-satiated. So for such a person, activities, prescribed duties are even not required, because prescribed duties, we have heard the last session, the prescribed duties are the purpose of performing prescribed duties to purify the heart from our impurities. And what are those two impurities? That is, this is mind, the proprietorship or the lordship over material nature. The second impurity is that we always harbor self-ego or false ego. So false ego and proprietorship, these are impurities which are there in the heart of a normal person. So person who has got these impurities in the heart, he has to perform sacrifices to purify himself. But a person in Krishna consciousness, he is already purified from these impurities by becoming self-realized. Number one, self-illuminated, and also being self-satisfied or satiated. So he has no longer any obligation to Vedic injunctions. And now these sacrifices are prescribed in the Vedic injunction. They are part of the Vedic procedures. So when a person is in Krishna consciousness, he does not need to follow the Vedic injunctions. That means performance of sacrifice is not required for a person who is in Krishna consciousness, because he is already free from the impurities of heart by by worshipping Lord Krishna. So because also last quality was that he is not interested in material or sensual activities. We know that Krishna consciousness person performs all activities for the pleasure of Krishna, not for his own sense gratification. Yes, Mataji, Richa Mataji.
Prabhu, in the previous slide, that obligations to the Vedic injunctions. So, what are the obligations to the Vedic injunctions?
Mataji, Vedic injunctions, they are mainly, I mentioned earlier also, they are mainly related to performance of rituals, karma kand. And karma kand basically result into some kind of reactions. And reactions are again binding, which lead to repetition in the cycle of birth and death. So that is, those injunctions are not binding on a person who is Krishna consciousness, because he has already risen himself above that level of performance of certain obligation. I tell you one thing, Mataji. Normally, when there is Shraddh, Pitra Paksh or something like that, that people do all kind of tarpan and all those things. But a person in Krishna consciousness who is a realized soul, they are not bound by that tarpan and even offering of shraddha, prasadam or water or food to their ancestors. So Krishna consciousness is the highest level of elevation, where these karma kand or these rituals are not required to be performed.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So, thank you.
Nishkam Karma Yoga to set correct example.
Just a minute. This one, yeah, this one now. Richa Jain, you were continuing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतेन्हे कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थ व्यपाश्रये. A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor he has any need to depend on any other living being, as he is already Krishna consciousness.
So I think this answers your question.
Exactly. Hanji Prabhuji.
Is it okay?
Hanji.
So this answers your question very easily now. That
Yes.
a person who is Krishna conscious does not have any obligation to do injunctions of Vedic injunctions or as prescribed in the scriptures, because these activities are meant for purification of heart and doing away with the anartha nibrati, that is what are unwanted desires. But a person who is Krishna conscious devotee, he has already forsaken all these activities. In fact, he is already not performing all these activities. So self-reliance has no purpose to fulfill the discharge of prescribed duties. Earlier I said that uh, rituals are not required, but now a person in KC or Krishna consciousness has no obligation to perform even the prescribed duties, nor he has any reason not to perform such work. This is a contradiction now. Now let us take example of Lord Krishna. He was a grahast, but nor has he any reason. Did he stop to perform the prescribed duties when he descended on this material world? When he appeared, he did everything. He played with his mother. He played with his cowherd boys, and he did Ras Leela with these gopis. And also, he killed so many demons. He was always protecting his fellow men. So, why he should have done it? Because he was doing it to set an example for his position. So, though Krishna had no obligation, because Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We'll come to it. This is further elaborated in further verses, that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the owner of everything. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't want anything. And we do activity for fulfilling our desires. He had no desires. He had nothing which he was lacking. Yet he performed prescribed duties to set an example for others. Because if Krishna will not do, others will follow, because we follow certain people. So we'll come to this aspect in further verses. So whether to perform prescribed duty or not is very clear here, that whether one has an obligation to perform prescribed duty or not, one must do prescribed duty as it is. One may be in Krishna consciousness, yet he has to perform. Yes, Riya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samakara asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusa. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the Supreme. Hare Krishna.
So, Mataji, how do we pronounce these words? These are Sanskrit, a bit tricky, and grammar is different. Tasmad, when there is a bar over any letter, then it is bada A or big A, Kana A. Tasmad asaktah satatam, Tasmad asaktah satatam karyam karma samachara. C is read as cha, and asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti. Pu, this pu is again you, a big you. Purushaha. This is how we read it. Tasmad asaktah satatam karyam karma samachara. Asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purushaha. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. So the summary here is one who is assigned certain kind of prescribed duty, whether there is an obligation for him to perform duty or not, he must perform duty. Number one, why he should perform duty? He should offer the results of activities to the Lord. Secondly, he should not get materially entangled with the basic activities. Thirdly, there is no reason for him not to perform such activities. Secondly, by performing these activities, he is not dependent on anybody. He is just setting an example. So these are the reasons why in the earlier verse it was mentioned. Yet he has any reason not to perform such work. These are the reasons. No attachment, results offered to Lord Krishna. No obligation, yet performance is must. No material gains, no fruits or benefits of activity and all enjoyed by the person, and no sense gratification, and also no dependence on other person for performing such duty. So this is the meaning here. Yes, Mataji, read this one also, please.
Arjuna told to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra because Krishna wanted him to fight. Acting for the supreme is to act without attachment for the result. This is perfect action recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. A Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result of his actions. Acts only on behalf of Krishna, although engaged in all kinds of activities, is completely non-attached. Hare Krishna.
So these are the reasons why a person who is not obligated to perform certain activities, even the prescribed duties, yet he has to perform. Why? Well, number one, in the blue ink, Krishna wanted him to do, because Krishna had asked him to fight, so he has to fight. Secondly, Krishna told him, do not think or do not be attached to the actions of your activities. Attached to actions means whether you get killed or whether you win over the battle. If you win, then you are going to enjoy the kingdom, the opulence of the kingdom. And if you are killed, then you go to heaven, because a Kshatriya has a assigned duty of fighting and killing the enemy. But if you get killed, you go to heaven. So don't think where are you going. Just there should be no attachment. Thirdly, the perfect action, because Krishna is perfect. Krishna has been accepted by Arjuna as the perfect teacher or Shish, the Guru. So now whatever Lord is saying, it has to be complied. Next reason is no attachment for the result of his action. So Krishna wants Arjuna to act on his behalf. He says that I am asking you to fight, so you fight. So actually, now Arjuna is absolved of any kind of sin by killing anybody, because it is order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, although engaged in all kind of, it is completely non-attached. So whatever activities you are going to prescribe, duties you are going to perform here, don't be attached to them. Offer results to me. Don't. It is a perfect action, because Supreme Personality of Godhead is ordering you to do it. So these are the reasons why prescribed duties have to be performed by a person who is not under any obligation. Yes, Chanda Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिमास्थिता जनकायदः लोकसङ्ग्रहमिवापि सन्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि. Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Kings such as Janaka attain perfection solely by that. Now they are giving certain example of Janak is a Maharaj, Janak Maharaj we call him. So Janaka performed all his duty. He had no obligation to perform any duty. But as a representative of Supreme Personality of God, king is considered to be a representative of God, and he has to act as per the religious or the scriptural injunctions in respect of ruling his state. So King Janaka, he had attained perfection. Because if we perform, we have already heard that if we perform our prescribed duties, a path for liberation is, we get purified and we get, in fact, a progress towards the path of liberation. So just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform that. Now, Janak was an example for all the kings. Another such, does anybody remember any other name of, king or Raja who acted on behalf of Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead and ruled his state under provisions of religion? Does anybody remember from the scriptures?
Raja Bharat.
Bharat Maharaj, yes, Mataji. Prithu
King
Maharaj,
Ambarish.
Ambarish Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, all these did not, exhibit any kind of proprietorship or ownership on their estate. They they ruled their estate as a representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they were very just in their actions. You can see what from the life of Bharat Maharaj and Janak Maharaj also. So if the king is doing something, then the other people also follow the actions of such great persons. So that is the example which is given here of Janak Maharaj. He was an ideal ruler of his state. Yes, please read this one also, Mataji.
Kings like Janaka were all self-realized souls, had no obligation to perform the Vedic duties. But they performed all prescribed activities just to set example for the people in general. The Lord and Arjuna had no need to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. They fought to teach people that violence is inevitable when good arguments fail. While the Lord tried to avoid war, the other party was determined to fight. Although not interested in worldly affairs, a Krishna consciousness person has to work to teach others how to live and act. Experienced people in Krishna consciousness can act in such a way that others will follow. And this is explained in the following verse. Hare Krishna.
So as just explained, Janaka had no obligation, but he was already self-realized soul. So Vedic injunctions were not binding on him. Yet he did so because for setting an example in general for people so that people also quote him in the future that such and such person did such activity, such action in certain circumstances. Similarly, Lord Krishna had no role to play in this battle. He could have refused to be the Sarthi of Arjuna because, and he could not. He could have refused, to give the message of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the battlefield. But it was his duty because he was Supreme Personality of Godhead and Arjuna has surrendered to him as a disciple and he was seeking instructions for him. So he did prescribe duty of instructing Arjuna in the battlefield. Now, the basic concept here it is applicable to present day circumstances, that sometimes you will remember that even Lord Krishna went to Duryodhana to convince him that give them 5 small villages and they will live happily, there shall be no dispute, you rule entire state of Hastinapur. But they did not agree. So that was a good argument which was given by Lord Krishna to Duryodhana. But he did not agree. He said, then violence is inevitable. If good senses do not prevail upon a person, he does not come to sense and does a righteous thing, then violence is sometimes essential. And that is why this battle was fought. So while the Lord tried to avoid war, the party was determined to fight. We know this thing. Krishna was never interested in worldly affairs, yet similarly, a Krishna consciousness person, a person who is Krishna conscious, has to teach others how to live in act. That means all the devotees of Krishna, they have to have a perfect. Whom do we follow? We follow the persons who are exactly same in their words and in their actions also. We follow our teachers, we follow our leaders, we follow our parents, because what they say, they live that thing. So one's own character or behavior is the guide which makes other people follow him. So experienced persons, Krishna consciousness, can act in such a way that others will follow. And this is explained in the following verse. Yes, Shrishti Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji.
Yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tad evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is what we were talking about. We follow 3 persons in our life. First is our parents. Whatever our parents do, we follow it. And second person is our teacher or guru. Whatever he teaches us, or acharya. And what is the definition of acharya? Acharya is a person who lives by example, exemplary character and behavior. We follow him, in fact. And third person who we follow in our life is the king. No, of course, king is not there these days. We follow our leaders. If the leaders, they act religiously based on their just and perform prescribed duties, performed in a religious manner without any bias, without any like or dislike. If they are fair to everyone, then we try to follow them. So these are 3 persons. Mahajane Jana Gaten Sa Pantha. Wherever the great people have gone, people follow them. What is the difference between following and imitating? Anyone? We follow our leaders, we follow our parents, we follow our acharyas, guru or teachers. What is the difference between following and imitating?
Inculcating in that is
It's not.
following, and imitating is just seeing the gesture and of doing action, not soulfully.
Okay. Any other opinion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, madam.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
When we imitate somebody, we actually don't think what are the goodness or what are the bad things what that person is doing. But when we follow somebody, first of all, that comes in our consciousness that that person is perfectly doing something very perfectly or having good goals in life. So when we imitate, we are not thinking a lot. We are just copying that person. But when we follow, we are thinking why we are doing all these things, what could be the consequences of following such people, all those things. Though definitely, if we are not thinking about the fruit of that particular karma, but definitely following it means we are doing something with our consciousness.
Thank you, Mataji. That's very nice explanation. Thank you, Mataji. In fact, imitating is copying without following. To put it in simple words, what you have explained, imitation is copying an action without following it. And following means that we not only implement in our lives also. Is it okay? When we follow, we
Yes,
implement.
Prabhuji.
When we follow something, we implement in our own behavior and conduct. When we imitate, we really do not. Now, is it possible? Now, take an example from scriptures. Lord Shiva drank the poison, when this Manthan was going, Samudra Manthan was going on, the first thing which came out, very, very strong poison, everybody ran, but Lord Shiva himself offered and he took it. Now, his followers, Lord Shiva's followers, these days, they will consume, ganja and all kind of other intoxicants, strong intoxicants, because Shiva did. Now, can these persons swallow that strong poison that came out during Manthan? They can't. So they are imitating. Is it okay? This example, does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. This is
So
totally perfect.
this is imitation. And if a person who actually follows, he follows that action because it is a perfect, as Mataji mentioned, it is a perfect action. There can't be anything bigger, ideal than that example. So person, when following, he implements those activities in his own personal life. So that this is mentioned here, exemplary acts. A person sets an example and others follow it. So
And
Krishna's,
Prabhuji, it is also like a person like myself. If I imitate like that saffron cloth is the bhakti, it's only the imitation, that outlook, or I'm just imitating. Following means the soulfully getting engrossed mindfully in the devotion.
yeah, sure.
That is the following.
That is very true, Mataji. So now why Krishna is telling Arjuna that he was very, confused, indecisive, not willing to fight, go back to forest, live by begging alms, and not interested in killing all those close relatives and gurus. Now he says, if you run away now from the battlefield, it will be an example for the future generations, that a brave person like Arjuna, whom everybody respected so much, whose guru Dronacharya trusted so much, has run away from the battlefield. So you have to set an example for others, like the acharyas, like the king, like the parents. You have to follow those their instructions or their examples. So all the world will pursue whatever you do. And this is what Krishna is also telling. If I do not do this thing or do my prescribed duty, people will also follow, quote my example that Krishna did not perform this duty. Yes, Shrishti Mataji, this one also.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि.
Thank you.
3.22. O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties.
Thank you, Mataji. So this answer is already here. Krishna was self-reliant. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He didn't want anything. He had no duty to perform. Kinchan, this is mentioned about it. Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Meaning the smallest activity which I am under obligation to perform on three lokas. Name parthasti kartavyam. I have no duty to perform, O Partha, O son of Partha, Pratha, and Nana avaptam avaptabhyam. That means I don't want anything, nor I have need to obtain anything, because everything belongs to him and everything is owned by him. Yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. You can see the pastimes of Lord Krishna right from his birth time till his disappearance from the material world. He performed all kind of activities. He performed Ras Leela. Now, another example of Ras Leela is for following an imitation. Now, there is a class of people who imitate themselves to be Radharani or gopis, and they decorate their bodies in this similar manner, and they act as if they are very, very close to Lord Krishna. So what are these people called in, you studied in level 1? What are such people are called?
Sahajiyas.
Sahajiyas, yes, thank you, Mataji. So they are Sahajiyas, they are just imitating gopis, but do they, in their heart, do they have that kind of love for Krishna? Number one. Do they follow the rules, regulation of Krishna consciousness? Are they educated in Vedic knowledge? They are not. They do not know the correct method of even worshipping or devotional service or bhakti. So they are Sahajiyas are also another imitator. So this here, Lord is very clearly verifying that I do not have any desire to get anything. I do not have any prescribed duty to perform. I don't have any material entanglement. I am self-realized. I control everything, yet I am performing my prescribed duty. Yes. Anybody else would like to read now?
Hare Krishna, may I
Yes,
again?
please continue.
Why does the Lord need to work? Vedic literature described the opulences of the Supreme Lord as controller of all other controllers, greatest of all diverse planetary leaders, confers particular powers to all living entities, worshipped by all demigods, supreme director of all directors. There is no one greater than him, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. Body unlike that of an ordinary entity, no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute with multifarious potencies. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other sense. He has no duty that he has to perform, as he has no results of work to receive within the three planetary systems. Yet, Lord Krishna is engaged on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as a leader to protect the distressed, a performing role model indeed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Wonderful. So these are the Krishna is the current of all, his cause of all causes. He is the primeval Lord. He is Adi Purush. He has those all six opulences, which are all beauty, all fame, all strength, all knowledge, all wealth, and all renunciation. These opulences are there all. So does he need to do anything? And moreover, he is controller, supreme controller, because everything has emanated from him. All the living entities, all the material nature, all the demigods, they have come out of him. So he has created all those things. So does he have to do any prescribed duty? But he does not have. Yet he performs these activities. And he has got three potencies. Does anybody remember what are three potencies of Lord Krishna, which has given out emanate from which these uh, universes have emanated and other living entities, demigods?
In internal potency, marginal potency, and external potency.
Yeah.
Uh,
What are the creations out of these three type of energies or potencies?
from external potency, material uh, material universe is created from marginal potency living entities, and from internal potency all the demigods.
And heavenly planets or higher planets that we call. So, and his senses are transcendental. They are not like ours, because we have limited function for one particular sense organ assigned. Like eyes can only see, eyes cannot eat or can't smell. But Lord Krishna's all senses are transcendental, and he can perform any action from any of his sense organs. He has no duty. and yet he is engaged in as a Sarthi in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So why he is there? Because the Pandavas were distressed people, and paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. So to annihilate the miscreants like Kauravas and to protect pure devotees like Arjuna and Pandavas, he performed that duty of being present in the. So he performed a role model. A role model is a person whom we not only consider to be the ideal and perfect, we also follow him in our practical life. So this is mentioned here. That Lords, these are opulences of Lord. Yes, next one also, Mataji. Yeah, please continue this one, Mataji. You were reading, Riya Mataji, you were reading now?
Hare Krishna, yes.
Yeah.
Yadi hi aham na varteyam jatu karmani atanvrita mama manu vartante manushya partha sarvasya. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, for if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. We have already seen. So, whatever Lord Krishna does, he is supreme. We have just in the previous slide, we have seen that he is supreme personality of Godhead. He is Adi Purush. He is a cause of all causes, and everything is emanated from him. He is the supreme controller. He controls even our senses. Everything is controlled by him. Everything is created by him, maintained by him. So he has no duty to perform. Yet he performed duty. Now he says that if I do not perform my duty in the battlefield as a Acharya of Arjuna, that people will follow my path. That means other teachers will also, they will quote my example and they will not fight. Yes, please continue with this one.
Lord Krishna performed all the religious duties as required of a householder. For the common man to follow in his footsteps, he being the greatest authority, thereby ensured progress in spiritual life of common man. The Lord followed the rules or regulations prescribed for conditioned souls, although he had no need to, as he had descended to establish the principles of religion. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Lord followed the rules and regulations prescribed for conditioned souls, although he had no need to, as he had descended to establish the principle of religion. In fact, we know that Vedas have come from Krishna, and Vedas describe the prescribed duties. So those prescribed duties have emanated basically from Lord Krishna himself. Now these duties have been described for persons who are contaminated, who have got impurities in their heart. Krishna does not have any kind of material entanglement. He does not have any impurity in the heart yet, and he is under no obligation to perform prescribed duty. But here Krishna is telling that these duties were described for condition, or rules were made for conditioned soul, but I am also following them. Now, a person who makes a law, he becomes above the law. He is not supposed to follow the law, basically, because he is the creator. He is already following all kind of laws and regulations. So Krishna is teaching us by giving his own example, by performing his prescribed duty. Sometimes Krishna acts independent of the law also. Can you quote from Mahabharata, or this battlefield is seen where Krishna acted independent of the law he had created? Anyone? Just there are two incidents from battlefield where Krishna violated these laws.
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
first,
Yeah, one by one.
I think when he taken shastra, he has vowed that he will not take any shastra, any weapon, but he taken wheel to kill Bhishma Pitama.
Yes, very nice, Mataji. Second one, other Mataji was telling something. Yes. Second time.
Prabhuji, I was going to say that
Same
only.
thing. Okay, very nice. Second time, you will remember he
Duryodhan,
Duryodhan,
while
yes,
killing
pointed towards the thigh of Duryodhana. Arjuna, notice it, that you can't kill him. Krishna wanted to point Duryodhana's thigh and wanted to hint Arjuna that you have to hit at this place. Why did he did it? Why did he do these two actions? He is lawmaker. He is beyond anything. He did not want anything. He did not want to win the war, the battle at all. But why he did so? The simple reason is, Mataji, he wanted to please his devotees. He is very merciful. Because his devotee was on the righteous path. He wanted to please his devotee. So that is why he did violate rules, laws which he himself had made. Yes. Pardon, Mataji, who will like to read now? Anybody who has
Can
not?
I?
Yeah, sure. Please continue, Mataji.
उत्सिदेयुरिमे लोकान् कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्याम् imam prajaha. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Hare Krishna.
So now he is explaining, though I am not under obligation to perform any prescribed duty, but if I did not do, firstly, people will quote me. Secondly, they will follow my path in avoiding their own prescribed duty. The third reason will be that all world will be put to ruination because everybody will be acting on his own, quoting my example. And third, there shall be unwanted population or, world Sankara will be produced because they will not follow any kind of rule. They will just quote my example. Krishna also did not do his perform prescribed duty. And lastly, all peace of all living beings will be destroyed. Peace, how the peace will be destroyed? Because there shall be no law and order, there shall be no standards or norms or ethics or moral activities, or everything will be destroyed. So I cannot, I have to perform, you have to perform your duty. So these are the reasons which Krishna is giving, that if I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination because there shall be no order in this society. It would be cause of creating unwanted population shall be, or one Sankara or these people will be who will be creating havoc and nuisance in the society and thereby destroy the peace. Everybody will be destroyed. But we know from our example, if the king is good, the leader is good, then there is a rule of law exists in the society, and everybody is happy following those rules. Only miscreants, they are not happy, right? But if the king himself is not following the rules, he is creating disorder himself. He cannot stop others from doing wrong things. So the king has to be just. The Lord Krishna is the supreme king here. And he is quoting that if I do not do religious activities, irreligion will destroy the entire world, universe, and also the peace of every living being will be disturbed. Yes, Mataji, next one, this one also.
Varnashankar is social disturbance. Ensues when proper and regulations are not followed in a society. Peace and organization required for spiritual progress in life in a population are hindered. When Lord Krishna descends, he sets all things in order and restores the prestige of the population. The Lord, being the father of all living entities, comes to guide them as his responsibility. Whenever there is violation of regulatory principles, Lord descends and corrects the society. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. Whenever there is violation of regulatory, if religion predominates, then I descend from millennium after millennium. So he, in this period, in the Dwapar also, he descended to set order of life in the society, let the rule of religion prevail. And If I do not follow these prescribed duties here, Varna Sankara will be produced. In chapter number 1, Arjuna had described Varna Sankara so much in detail. The three effects Varna Sankara will produce: first, there shall be sin. Secondly, the all social welfare activities will come to a standstill. Thirdly, there shall be chaos in the society and there shall be no order in the society. So Varna Shankara, or the unwanted progeny who does not fulfill any kind of religious obligations and who has not been purified by sanskars. The main reason of elimination, if the elders are killed, the immediate effect will be the processes of purificatory processes will not take place. When sanskars are not instituted into the or instilled in the population or the children, or then and these are instilled by the elderly people, then Varna Sankara will be produced. Ladies will be corrupt, and then there shall be disorder in society, and there shall be Varna Sankara. So they are nuisance to this society. They will not follow any kind of rules and regulation. My request is, any other devotee who has not read so far, please come forward. Anyone who would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can
Yes, Mataji, please. You can see my screen now?
I can see, but it is in the slide, like not the slideshow mode. It's okay.
Yeah,
Prabhuji, I can. Yeah.
Just give us a minute.
Hare Krishna. Sakta karmani avid vamso jata kurvanti bharata kurnyad vidvams tatsakstas chekshur toke sangramham. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. Hare Krishna.
Now, Lord is telling two kind of people are there. One is ignorant, the other person is self-realized. What does ignorant person do? Person who is ignorant about his own real identity and his relation with Supreme Personality of Godhead, he acts for satisfaction of his own senses. And he is attached to result. He performs, he endeavors hard to get some kind of result. And he is bound by those things. But a self-realized person, he is not attached to the results. He offers all activities. He does endeavor, but he offers the results or fruits of his activities to Lord Krishna. So he is performing his prescribed duty for satisfaction of Lord Krishna, whereas a person who is ignorant, who does not have any realization of self, he performs activities for his own satisfaction. That is sense gratification. Yes, Mataji, this one also.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I'll read. A Krishna conscious person is always engaged in activities that satisfy Krishna, does not do anything non-conducive to development of Krishna consciousness. An ignorant person is too much attached to material activities in sense gratification. It is important that the Krishna conscious person demonstrate in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So now Krishna is telling, you are not a, he mentioned about Arjuna that you are from a very high family. You are not a mudha. You are not a pretender. He said exactly. You are not a mithyachari. You come from a very high family. You are not a pretender. Then now he is telling that the difference between ignorant person and the self-realized person. You are a self-realized person. Now, so you should act in Krishna consciousness and you should perform your prescribed duty in the battlefield, because a person in Krishna consciousness, he performs all activities which are conducive to development of his spiritual progress. So the instruction here is act without attachment, to set an example. Earlier we heard about the people who are followed or who are imitated, and three persons: acharyas, parents, and of course the king or leader is followed by everybody. So here also you fight and kill the enemies and demonstrate by your actions that you are self-realized and you perform your prescribed duty. So this is the same meaning which we have already discussed. Now, this is a great summary. How can we know a person is ignorant and self-realized? The difference between the ignorant and self-realized person? Any idea? A person in ignorance,
Self-content and self-satisfied.
okay.
The
But what
ignorant
is the
person is
what is
doing
the
Learned
material
person.
activities,
what is
material
the
activities, and
yes?
other is doing spiritual activities.
Yes, that is fine. Activity is action now. But what
Mm.
is the motive behind this activity?
Always engaged
Sense
in Krishna. A person who is learned, he's always engaged in Krishna, whatever they do, and the other person is more focused about the material things.
Thank you, Mataji. That is very close to the answer. Anybody would like to try?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
A learned person works to satisfy the senses of Krishna, and an ignorant person works to satisfy his own senses.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Learned person will be always involved in welfare of the other soul or people. And whereas ignorant people, they always think about the self-satisfactions and satisfying the instant
Yes,
gratification.
I think all of you are very close to the correct answer. The motivating factor is desire. What is the desire? The desire of an ignorant person is to satisfy his own senses. He doesn't think of satisfying the senses of Lord Krishna. Whereas the self-realized person, he has no desire of his own. His desire is to satisfy Krishna. Is it okay?
And Prabhuji, learned person, they know what to desire. They are very specific about it that whatever they desire, it should be, a noblest work or action towards the society.
Very nice. Very close to, you are very close to the same point, what I just simply simplified it. The difference is in desires. In desires, a self-realized person, he will work for satisfaction of Krishna's senses and work without attachment to fruits. He doesn't want any enjoyment. He offers even the result of his actions to Krishna. So why? To set an example and lead people on other path. Now we are out of the battlefield. Just imagine ourselves as a devotee now. If we want others to follow us as a devotee of Lord Krishna in Krishna consciousness, then our activities should be directed or towards satisfaction of Krishna only. We should have a desire to, whatever we do, whatever little or big action we take, we should be directing our desire to satisfy Krishna, not our own. But what does an ignorant person do? You can see the picture on right hand side. This person is thinking very hard. He is smoking. He's playing gambling also. There is a drink also, and then he's endeavoring very hard to earn lot of money, lot of money, just to have a big car and all kind of enjoyment. So he is an ignorant person, because there's those four kind of activities which are prohibited in Krishna consciousness. He is involved in all those activities. So the difference is, what is our motive? Why we are acting? Why we are preparing prasadam? Why we are eating? He will eat for himself. Now the person who is self-realized, he will prepare prasadam for Lord Krishna. He will clean the, and Ambrish Maharaj was perfect example, who did all 9 kind of forms of worship to please Lord Krishna. He was cleaning the temple, he was cooking the food himself, he was decorating Lord, he was thinking about Krishna. Just a moment. So this is the basic differences in the desires. And this person ignorant is working for the attachment to the results. Yes, next one also, Mataji. Yes, Santi Mata, you are reading.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read. Na buddhi bhedam janayad ajnanam karma sanginam joshayat sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. so as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive result of prescribed duties. A learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So Lord Krishna is telling, now there are two categories of people. One is ignorant, the other is self-realized. A self-realized person performs activities for the pleasure of Krishna. Now this other person ignorant, his neighbor. Now what he should do? The self-realized person should go to the ignorant's house and tell him, no, stop all these activities. These are not good. You should not do this thing. Is it justified method? Krishna is telling no. You set your example so that the other person who is ignorant follows those examples, and gradually when he observes you or watches you doing certain kind of activities, day will come that he will also get engaged in Krishna conscious activities. So this is what is mentioned. So as not to disturb the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person or self-realized person should not induce them to stop work. We should not ask that you stop all these activities, these are not good for you. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, that means we should strengthen or re-strengthen our devotional activities so that he observes them and he also gets engaged in those kind of activities, giving up that attached activities or fruitive activities. So he should engage them in all sort of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness or this devotional service is a very slow and gradual process. And we cannot attain it by our own endeavors. We need to have mercy of Krishna and pure devotees. So that is why importance of association of devotees and our endeavor are very important in proceeding in Krishna consciousness. Yes, this one also, Mataji.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, yeah, please, Mataji, continue.
Prakrute kriyamānāni gunai karmāni sarvashah ahankara vimūಢātma kartāhamiti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
Very important shloka for everyone to memorize. Please do it. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunehi karmani sarvasha ahankar vimūಢ atma karta aham iti manyate. What we think, whatever we are doing in this world, we think, I have done this thing, but I have not actually. Will you remember yesterday we talked about that the living entity works helplessly, compulsively under influence of three modes of material nature, whether willingly or unwillingly. One is forced to act because the rope of the three gunas is so tight over our heart that we are forced to do what we are not even liking to do sometimes. This happens. This is our usual story, in fact, in our practical life. But we think now but the ignorant vimūಢ atma, the person who is of low intelligence, he considers that I am the doer. He is not the doer. Prakrite kriya manani, the three modes of gunai karmani sarvasha, the three modes of material nature forces us to do certain activities, but the foolish persons or the person who are of low intelligence, they consider that they are the doer. Then who is doing it? The three modes of material nature. The super soul is permitting. The soul is sitting there inside because it has a desire to perform that activity. And also this body, the senses, they make it happen. So Prakriti, this is a very nice shloka. I will request all of you to please memorize. Prakriti Kriyamana, the spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego. The soul is under influence of false ego, no. Thinks himself the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. And here you can see these people, they are probably fighting with each other. You can see the sticks in their hands. And why they are doing so? Because of three modes of material nature. They are bound, compulsively bound and forced to do under the influence of three modes of material nature. But the person is thinking that, no, I hit him. He is not hitting him because he is under influence of that nature. This one shall be the one last for the day. Yes. Yes, Mataji, this one also you read, please.
Yes, I'll read. A material conscious person under the influence of false ego thinks he is the doer of everything. He is ignorant. His gross and subtle bodies are created by material under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. He takes all credit for his doings, a symptom of his nescience. Does not think his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna. Due to long abuse of intense gratification, hindered by the false ego, forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dhanyavad.
So this is explanation of the previous one, Prakriti Kriya Madani, Udai Karmani Sarvasya. That ignorant person considers that I am the doer, whereas the doer is someone else. Doer is our senses, doer is our body, doer is our super soul, which has permitted this thing to happen because we are bound by the ropes of three modes of material nature. And also the soul is contaminated. Soul is overtaken by the false ego that I am doing this thing and I want the credit. That is why we, whenever as a Krishna conscious person or a Krishna devotee, we have to offer everything, acknowledge everything that we have to Lord Krishna, that it is yours, it is given by you, it is yours. Prasadam or whatever we new thing we have in the house. Krishna, even this house is yours. I am just a tenant here. I am just occupying it. Right? So that kind of concept has to be developed, but it develops very slow. And as I mentioned, it is a very gradual and slow process. And is ignorance, his gross and subtle bodies are created by material nature under the supervision of Supreme Lord. We have already discussed this, that when the soul leaves the body, then Krishna has a glance over the soul for a millisecond only, and the material nature immediately fashions. By his glance, seed is provided to the soul. That means Bij Pradapita. Krishna is the father who gives the life to that soul again, and then new life form is given by the three modes of material nature based on our propensities or our desires which are not fulfilled in previous life. So this is, we will stop here, and tomorrow I'll try to finish up this. Any questions or any suggestion or corrections, if anybody would like to give, please.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want to ask, not related to this class. I applied for lifetime membership, Prabhuji. Will I get any like card or something like that?
Yes, Mataji, you will get a smart card of thing that will carry your name and also your membership number, and that can be used for other benefits which are mentioned in the group already. So,
Okay.
but you didn't mention, Mataji, you didn't forward me that you mentioned about the contribution that you had sent to the Krishna.
Yeah,
Would you
but
like?
yesterday or day before yesterday only I applied for this thing. So I thought
My request to all of you is that whatever this group is doing or the devotees in this group are doing, please do inform me privately on my number separately if you don't feel like making it a public. And whatever amount, small, big amount you are donating, whether you are going for live patron membership, LPM, then please do mention to me so that I can compile the figure and submit to them. As it is required for me to, it is my duty to inform them also.
Prabhu, shall I send the receipt to you?
Just the receipt, to just
Okay.
WhatsApp me receipt.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Any other question, Prabhuji, Mataji?
Prabhuji, today the volume was perfect, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. I will take
Yeah.
care in future, sure.
Please, Prabhuji, because it's very low, hard to hear.
No, I will
So I
take care of it.
request you.
So nice.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We stop today's class with the prayers to Shri Radha Gopalji and pure Vaishnavas. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी and माता जी, and thank you for your association. Dandavat pranam for attending the class. Thank you. Please fill the attendance before you leave. I have posted the